This is about to completely change the way that you approach Fiverr. See, most freelancers go into Fiverr thinking it's just about throwing up a gig, waiting around, and hoping clients magically find them. But what if I told you that there are hacks, real actionable hacks that could rank your gigs faster, secure more orders, and actually position yourself as the freelancer clients want to work with, even if you're brand new? And the best part? Hardly anyone is using these. These are strategies that your competitors probably haven't even thought about. So let's get straight into it, because the sooner you start using these, the sooner you'll start seeing the results. Let's start with a hack that completely changes the game when it comes to gig videos. Now, most freelancers hate making gig videos. They overthink it, they procrastinate, and they end up with videos that don't convert. But here's the truth. Fiverr itself has said that gig videos massively boost your chances of ranking higher and converting views into orders. So if you're skipping video, you're already behind. But instead of stressing about writing your script from scratch, here's what you do. Go find your top competitors, not just one, but 3 or 4 of them. These should be sellers who are already killing it in your niche. Open their gigs, play their videos, and here's the sneaky hack. Run the audio through Loom. Loom will now automatically transcribe the video for you. And to save time and not having to sit through every video, play each one at 1.5 times speed. Then, once you've got your Loom transcript, you're going to copy it and paste those transcripts into ChatGPT and ask it to compare them all and spit out a shorter, more compelling, more persuasive script that takes the best parts from each of the competitors. And there you go. Now you've got yourself a killer 150-word script that isn't copied, but is built from the most persuasive points your competitors are using. Think about what that means. You've just taken 4 of the best performers in your niche and broken down their scripts into one single masterpiece. Drop that into a teleprompter, hit record, and suddenly you've got one of the most effective gig videos in your niche. And here's the kicker. While other freelancers are fumbling around trying to figure out what to say, you've just leapfrogged the entire process. Now let's talk about demand, because one of the easiest ways to waste time on Fiverr is by creating gigs that nobody's actually searching for. And I see this happen all the time. Freelancers spend hours perfecting their gig images, their descriptions, their videos, only to discover that there's no demand in that niche. Now, if you want to win on Fiverr, you need to validate demand before you even create the gig. By the way, this is the stuff that I teach in my 14-day Accelerator program, which you can check out with the link in the description. But let me show you real quick how you do this. Head to Fiverr and type in the service that you're planning to offer. Let's say it's blog writing. Scroll down the first page and pick 2 or 3 sellers who have somewhere between 100 and 1,000 reviews and who are charging around the same price point that you'd like to charge. That's important because we want to compare apples to apples. You don't want to compare yourself to someone charging $5 when you want to charge $100. Now, click into their profile, scroll all the way down to the reviews and filter them by most recent. This shows you how often they're actually getting reviews. Now, if you see that seller A has reviews coming in every single day and seller B has 3 or 4 reviews per week, and seller C has multiple reviews per week as well, then congratulations. You've just proven there's consistent demand in your niche. But what if you check and see that a seller only has, say, 2 reviews across an entire month? Well, that's a red flag, meaning this niche might not have the demand that you're looking for, and it might be worth pivoting before you sink months into building a gig that barely brings in orders. Now, let's get into a hack that most freelancers completely ignore. Auto replies. And I'll be honest, this is one of my favorites because it solves a problem that's so simple but so common. What happens when a client messages you and you're not online? Well, here's the reality. Buyers rarely send one message. They usually contact multiple freelancers at the same time, and whoever gets back first usually wins the job. So if you're offline, you've already lost, right? Well, not if you set up an auto reply the right way. Now, most freelancers who use auto replies just say something like, "Thanks, I'll respond soon." But that does nothing. It doesn't hook the buyer. It doesn't make you stand out. And honestly, it just makes you look like every other seller. Instead, I want you to do this. Create an auto reply that says, hey, thanks for reaching out. This is a quick auto reply, but I'll come back to you within the hour. In the meantime, here's my portfolio. And then drop your portfolio link right there. Think about what happens now. Instead of moving on to your competitors, your buyer clicks through to your portfolio, sees your work, and gets excited. They start imagining working with you, and by the time you do get back to them with a proper response, you've already established credibility and trust. That simple tweak can make a massive impact. Next, let's talk about keywords. And this is where most freelancers completely miss the point. Keywords aren't just about stuffing random search terms into your title and hoping you rank. This is about thinking like a business owner, not just a gig worker. And if you're serious about making money on Fiverr, this mindset shift is pretty much everything. Now, if you join Fiverr's Seller Plus program, which is around $19 a month, you can get access to keyword research tools. And this tool is gold. It doesn't just show you what keywords people are searching for, it actually shows you what's trending right now, and that's huge. Why? Because Fiverr, just like any other platform, evolves constantly. New trends pop up, new services gain traction, and the freelancers who spot those shifts early are the ones who cash in big. Imagine this. You're looking at keyword data and suddenly you see a brand new search term that's spiking in demand, but barely any gigs exist for it yet. You create a gig targeting that keyword and boom, you're ranking on page 1 before the competition even realizes it's a thing. Now, this is how real businesses operate. They pivot, they adapt, they move where the demand is. And as a freelancer, you're not just selling a service, you're running a business. And keyword research is how you keep your business aligned with what buyers are actually searching for. And finally, let's talk about something that separates average freelancers from the ones who build thriving businesses: following up with clients. All right, if you think your job is done once you respond to a buyer and they say, sure, I'll get back to you, then you're missing out on a massive opportunity. Because here's the truth, most clients will never come back to you unless you stay on their radar. Out of sight, out of mind. Now, you can do this in 2 ways. The old school way is to keep a spreadsheet of usernames and notes and set reminders to check in with clients. But honestly, that's a lot of work. The smarter way is to use a CRM, a system that organizes your clients, tracks who you need to follow up with, and keeps all your communication streamlined. For example, I use Freelance Hustle's CRM, and it's been a game changer. It basically lets me organize potential buyers, active clients, and long-term leads. At a glance, I know exactly who to reach out to and when. Plus, it even has AI tools that polish your responses. So if communication really isn't your strong suit, you can just give it a rough idea of what you want to say, or even use the voice command, and the AI will spit out a professional reply. Honestly, you won't know you needed this until you start using it. And that's it. 5 hacks that your competitors probably have no clue about. So start using them to your advantage while you still can. And like I mentioned earlier, this is all stuff that I show you in my 14-day Accelerator coaching program. I'll drop a link to that below in the description if you want to find out more. Otherwise, the video that's on screen right now is one that YouTube thinks that you should go watch next.